Hey everybody, Luke Film Boss here with my very first YouTube video. Due to the global pandemic, it has been hard for audiences to find new movies in theaters. However, Hollywood has been re-releasing older movies so that we, the audience, can have the chance to witness them on the big screen once again. Today, I will be reviewing Beauty and the Beast 2017. The 2017 live-action remake of the Walt Disney animated classic Beauty and the Beast is only one of the many re-releases released in 2020 to reach #1 at the weekend box office. The 2017 version of Beauty and the Beast is only the second film that I have seen in theaters during 2020, and it is the first time I have seen a re-release in theaters. I am going to give you my take on the 2017 remake. And for clarification, I have not seen the original animated classic, and I know it's for shame. It's for shame, guys. But please, save your hate for the comments. With that, let's get started. A question that I will be answering at the end of this video is Beauty and the Beast 2017 a modern-day Disney masterpiece? Well, to get us started, I'm going to say if I only had one word to describe the 2017 version of Beauty and the Beast, it would be beautiful. Everything from the sound of the songs, to the personality and the chemistry of the characters, to the detail and the scope of the scenery. It's all just crafted in a beautiful, magical, dazzling way. And I would say, if one word to describe it would be beautiful. The best part to almost any movie is always the characters. So with that, I'm going to get started on how I liked each of the characters in this movie. To start off, I'm going to go with Emma Watson as Belle. I did not know Emma Watson could sing so beautifully before watching this movie. I really didn't know much about Emma Watson's acting career outside of her work in the Harry Potter movies, but this movie just brings her to an A-list level. She captures the character, I think, extremely well, starting with the young girl from a town that doesn't quite understand her, doesn't like her differences, and so she has bigger ambitions. She wants to get out of this town that's trying to hold her in a box, and she also loves her father so much that she doesn't want to leave him. And she loves her father so much that when he's in trouble, she takes his place as a prisoner. And then that goes into the next part of her story, where I think Emma Watson captures how a young girl would be responding to being trapped in a castle by this big, mean, scary beast. And then as she goes along, she really sees the inside. She starts seeing him as a person rather than the beast. And everything, her transition, her chemistry with the beast is so charming. Her whole role is charming as Belle. I don't know if anybody else could have played a live action version of Belle as well as Emma Watson. She was just extremely fun to watch. Next, I want to talk about the Beast. Now, I know that Dan Stevenson plays the Beast, and he does a good job of the voice acting. I liked how he gave a nice deep voice for the character. But overall, the Beast being mostly CGI, there's a lot more to the character than just the voice. The voice is very crucial, but I think the animators had a much bigger role to play in the character of the Beast than the actor himself did. But I thought this movie handled the Beast very well. Transitioning a character from animation to live action is never particularly easy, but they stick pretty true, almost exactly true to the animated style while making him look real. He always had a kind of a mix between a lion, a bear with goat horns, but it all works in his character, and they're able to catch his facial expressions so well that when he's angry, he looks intimidating. He looks like a beast because he's a beast. But when he starts creating that kind chemistry, that charm with Emma Watson's character as Belle, his face, it seems softer. It seems almost human, except for the fact that it still has that animalish look to it, but it's a kind, like, compare like an angry bear or an angry lion to a cute puppy dog. That's the kind of transition it gives. And so I really liked how the animators were able to capture two different sides of the beast, from the beast side to the human, the compassionate, kind, caring side that really brought this character to life. Of course, we have to talk about Luke Evans as Gaston. Luke Evans is a very talented actor. I liked his work in the Hobbit trilogy. I liked his small role in Clash of the Titans and Midway. But overall, Beauty and the Beast is probably his high moment. He captures the character of Gaston so well as the big, tough man who is very strong in his head, a little overly motivated, but he starts out as a character that you kind of like. He has good motives, he wants good things, but he lets his pride and everything get in the way of that, to where he won't accept no as an answer because he thinks he's too good and has to get what he wants. And Luke Evans knew how to portray that. He knew how to be an overly confident, big, strong, manly man. I liked Josh Gad as LeFou, who kind of builds the character of Gaston, but Gaston's character on his own can stand on his own 2 feet without LeFou. And especially when he's played as Luke Evans. Luke Evans just adds volumes to the character of Gaston. I love his deep voice, his deep singing voice, and his music numbers. They're always fun during this movie. But as you start from the character that is somewhat likable, you keep going further and further, and he gets worse. He gets more evil as the plot progresses. And that is tribute to the story itself, to the original animated, but Luke Evans knows how to capture that. He knows how to get angry when he needs to get angry. He knows how to calm down when he needs to calm down. He knows how to be sly, provocative, very prideful in his acting, where he thinks everything's about him. And so when people are boasting on him in the music number Gaston, he's just sitting there, he's like, yeah, he likes this. He likes the praise because he thinks he's better than everyone else. He thinks that it's something he deserves as a person, and that drives him. The fact that he thinks he deserves everything, that he is the ultimate guy, just moves him to his own demise, where he won't give up until he has completed and gained what he wants. And Luke Evans doesn't typically strike me as that kind of a guy, but as the character, he really embodies the character of Gaston. Next, I'm going to discuss the side characters, which will be all of the rest of the cast. I like the actor who played Belle's father. He's not a relatively well-known actor, at least not anymore. Maybe he was, but he's a very good actor, and I liked his portrayal. Next, all of the Beast's servants. They're a testimony to how good the animators did in this film with creating characters who are completely animated. Even though most of them are like clocks and candlesticks, you still see them as characters and as people, because that's who they are on the inside, even though on the outside they might just be appliances and such. Not all of the characters were extremely memorable, but they all had their moments, like the piano or the singing dresser. They had some good moments, like the piano shooting out his little piano keys, and then when he gets transformed back into a person, he's toothless because the piano keys were pretty much his teeth. That was a funny detail that sticks in your mind. The singer, she has her moments. The dresser, of course, singer, when she wraps people up, and when she's dressing Belle and creates this big mess of a dress. It's funny. Mrs. Potts and Chip were charming. They never were an extremely interesting character, but they had their moments of charm. I think they're more sentimental characters that just, she's like a mother figure, and that's what she is. She's a mother to Chip, but she also seems like a mother to Belle. She has that compassionate kind-heartedness, which is, once again, like I said before, it's a beautiful quality in the movie that adds to the beautifulness of the movie. The standouts in this part of the cast would be Ewan McGregor as the Candlestick. I don't remember his name because I'm pretty sure it's French, and French names are very hard. Ian McKellen as Cogsworth. He was a funny character. A little bit nervous when the Beast is around, because he doesn't want to upset his master or make him angry. So he's afraid of what the master will do if he goes against his orders. But then he also has this confidence in himself where he's like this soldier clock guy with his little sword thing. But in reality, he's a little bit timid and cowardly, even though he acts brave once in a while. It was a funny take for Ian McKellen to play. Back to Ewan McGregor, I was surprised when I found out that Ewan McGregor was in this movie. I did not know who he played after the first time that I watched this film. Going back and looking up who he played, the Candlestick guy, I found it very interesting because even when he turns back into a human, he doesn't look like Ewan McGregor. His voice does not sound like Ewan McGregor because he's a French character in this, and Ewan McGregor is not French. Ewan McGregor, I don't know, he might be, in my opinion, one of the greatest actors of all time. He knows how to capture sci-fi characters, American characters, British characters, and French characters, and it's particularly interesting and talented on his right, because he's a Scottish actor. Very, very interesting that he's able to capture a French character so well, and you just have, once again, the level of charm, his very French mentality where he has the romance of his, I guess, fiance who is turned into a duster. They find a way to make the romance between a feather duster and a candlestick romantic, and when they all turn completely into material objects, you really feel the sense of sorrow and sadness when the two of them say their last goodbyes. The rest of the supporting cast, Josh Gad's LeFou. Josh Gad is one of those silly characters who always finds the right side character, like whether it's Olaf from Frozen. He has his moments as the main character, like the dog from A Dog's Journey and A Dog's Purpose. But Josh Gad, I don't know. He didn't have an amazing role in this movie. It was good enough. He captures LeFou well enough, and his song performances are entertaining to say the least. But there's something missing from his character. You don't really care about him that much. Even Gaston, you care about him enough that you want him to get his in the end. LeFou, you really don't care. He's important when he needs to be, but in the end, you really don't need him. As for all the rest, there's not really many important characters left to discuss, but they did a very good job of capturing the supporting cast, and they made the film enjoyable overall. Next, I'm going to talk about the songs. The songs in this movie, they were beautiful, they were fun, they were entertaining, and they were memorable. What I like about the remake is it takes what was great about the original songs And I have listened to the songs from the original animated version, and they were pretty great. What the remake does is it takes what was great about those songs and it changes them to match the tone of the new movie and makes them somehow even better. Unlike some movies, like the new Aladdin, which changes and experiments with the songs, but makes them just a good version of the original great song rather than making them better. The Beauty and the Beast remake makes the songs better. I liked some of the new installments, new songs that were added in, like How Does a Moment Last Forever. There was a few new songs. I think Days in the Sun was a new song. It wasn't quite up to the level that it should have been. It was still very good, very beautiful, but it doesn't match the greatness of the rest of the songs, but it was still good. Overall, I think the songs are what makes the movie great. I think the movie would be good on its own without the songs, but the songs are what bring it to that next level, or what bring it to the great level that it is. I like the direction they took with everything from the voice talents that they had with their actors. Luke Evans, Emma Watson, Josh Gad, Ewan McGregor, they add something to each of the songs that they're in. I also liked how they did the visual with the dance numbers they did, with how they move things along. And for example, in the song Belle, how it starts with her and then follows her as she goes throughout the town, sort of like the animated, actually very close to the animated version. I have seen that scene from the animated version. And also with the Be Our Guest song, I loved how it kind of gave it a stage performance kind of vibe, with all the dishes and the lights and everything, just kind of like they're performing for her. She is their guest and they want to give her this big spectacular show to make her feel welcome. It all draws from the original, but somehow makes it better, as I have said. My favorite song from the remake of Beauty and the Beast is Evermore, sung by Dan Stevens as the Beast. I love his deep voice that he adds to it. It sets the mood. It sets the sadness as he's watching Belle leave. I love Belle in her yellow dress. She stands out so much in her snowy setting as she's riding away. And the Beast starts his song and you just immediately feel what he's feeling, the sadness, the sorrow of watching Belle leave. I love as he follows her as he goes up the tower to get a better view as she's going further and further away. Each line adds to the fact that he feels alone. He realized the truth too late, and that is that he loves Belle. He wants her, he needs her, and it's over. He thinks it's over, and he just keeps following and following and singing, and it is a great moment. Probably the best moment in the film is this whole song sequence, and I love the way it ends. Probably the pinnacle point of the movie, the greatest part of the movie, is when he hits the last note, the last Forevermore. As the camera zooms out of the tower that he's in, you see the whole castle, you see everything, the gardens and everything, and then it ends at the gate right as Belle is riding out, and it sets the mood, it sets the tone, and concludes the song in expert fashion as she officially is gone. She's officially leaves, and the Beast is left alone in his tower. I just really love the songs in this movie. I find myself listening to them a lot, and even once in a while I'll find myself breaking out singing them for no apparent reason. I want adventure in the great wide somewhere. I want it more than I can tell. How does a moment last forever? When I was a lad, I ate 4 dozen eggs every morning to help me grow large. But now that I'm grown, I eat 5 dozen eggs, so I'm roughly the size of a barge. Be our guest, put our service to the test. Days in the sun, when my life has barely begun. Yes, there may be something there that wasn't there before. This was the Paris of my childhood. These were the borders of my life. Certain as the sun rising in the east, tale as old as time, song as old as rhyme, Beauty and the Beast. Now I know she'll never leave me, even as she fades from view. I want much more than this provincial life. Yeah, on that note, I think it's time to talk about the story. The story for the live-action Beauty and the Beast is pretty straightforward from the original. It relies heavily on the source material that the original had already set up. I, once again, have not seen the original animated movie, but I do know the story structure, and so I know how to compare it to the live-action. And really, the live-action added in like a few small details, like the fact that Belle was born in France and her mother died of the Black Plague. That's pretty much the only real story element that was included in the live action that was different from the animated version. But the animated version was so good, so perfect to begin with, there was really no need to change anything. The story itself is a classic story of a beauty falling in love with a beast. It's a very old story. The song says, "Tale as old as time," which isn't completely true, but it's pretty close because it's a very old story with a long history that I, of course, do not know. And the story's evolved through many books and movies, and I think Disney finally was able to capture the story almost perfectly with the animated version and now the live-action version. Overall, they found a way to add in some key elements. The characters, they found a way to perfect them. They found a way to do the romance in a way that was irresistible. And with the main villain character that pretty sure was not in the original tale, Gaston was a good installment. In the original tale, it was just the mob going to kill the beast because they were afraid of him. In the Disney version, Gaston leads them to kill the beast because of those reasons, but it's more personal for him because he's determined he will stop at nothing to do what he set out to do. So he goes to his own demise, but he succeeds in killing the beast. And by making it a lot more personal, I think that's how they perfected the story, is by honing in on some certain characters and elements and just causing it so that the interactions that we've seen throughout the film really pay off in the end, rather than just seeing the overall story of the romance between the Beauty and the Beast. With that said, the live-action remake can't really take any of the credit for the story because it was already formed through the animated classic. The visuals in the live-action Beauty and the Beast are great. They found a way through detail, gorgeous animation of the characters and the scenery, the large scope. The castle was amazing. They found a way to make everything feel magical. There was an atmosphere about this movie that just felt shiny. It felt fresh. And it was able to bring in dark elements after and in between all of the light, soft, kind-hearted elements. I think there's really two defining tones of this movie. You have the love, the compassion, and then you have the dark, the anger. And there's two sides, and that builds for the anger both in Gaston as the villain and in the Beast. And then you have Belle, who is such a kind-hearted, sweet girl. And then the characters in the castle, Mrs. Potts, etc. They also have that sweet nature to them. And then that pays off in that the Beast starts forming a kind-hearted, compassionate, loving side. So we see a dark side of the Beast, which goes into a kind, loving Beast. And then you have Gaston, who starts off as a charming, almost seems like a loving guy, but then he turns into this angry, mean beast himself. And those are really the two defining tones. You have darkness and light, and that's really the perfect tonal structure, is always having good and evil. Sometimes they throw in different tones in different movies, but this movie knew how to balance out both of the two simplest tones and put them together, and makes for a great movie. Once again, the live-action remake of Beauty and the Beast can't take too much credit because it leans so far into the source material from the original animated movie. That being said, this is why I think Beauty and the Beast 2017 is not suitable for Oscars. The original animated film was nominated for Best Picture and Best Animated Feature, and the live-action remake is just not in that same category because it didn't invent everything itself. The characters, the songs, the story, it's all structured on the original. So I would not have nominated this film for Best Picture because of that. However, had we not had the animated film, I would have nominated the live-action Beauty and the Beast in a heartbeat. I thought this movie was award-worthy in the sense that it is so great and grand and enjoyable that had we not had the original that it was based so heavily on, this would have been one of the best films of the decade. All of that being said, is the live-action version of Beauty and the Beast worthy of being called a Disney masterpiece? Yes, it is. Not only should it be considered a Disney masterpiece, but this movie should be considered a masterpiece in general. It was very well directed. The acting was spot on. The songs were so entertainingly fun and gorgeous. The whole movie was gorgeous. This is a movie that you can share with your family for the ages. Quite frankly, I'm partial to live action over animation. I'm not saying that live action is always better, but when you take an animated classic like Beauty and the Beast and turn it into live action in such a great way that you enhance what was good about the animated classic and put that onto a live action screen, that is worthy of praise. As for the score, I give Beauty and the Beast 2017 an 88% for quality. There was a few moments that I didn't think had as much impact as they should have. A few of the songs weren't as powerful as they should have been. And there was a few characters, like I said, LeFou, Josh Gad's performance wasn't quite as important as it should have been. But overall, there was nothing bad about the film. Just a few things weren't as good as they should have been. But overall, it's a great movie. On the entertainment scale, as far as enjoyment, my personal enjoyment, and how much I think others would enjoy it, I give this film a 90%. It is solid family entertainment. Young people can enjoy it, old people can enjoy it, and if you're in between, you can enjoy it. Overall, the film gets an 89% for 88% quality and 90% enjoyment. Thanks everyone for watching my very first YouTube video. I hope you enjoyed the review. Please like, comment, and subscribe. In the near future, I will be watching and reviewing the animated version of Beauty and the Beast, so keep on the lookout for that. And I will also be reviewing the live-action Disney remakes as we lead up to the release of Disney's Mulan, which might be getting a re-release, who knows. But keep on the lookout for some more videos.